Rashans.
Rashans.
No time for friends, it's for your own sake.
Well, I know I miss more than hit, with a face that was launched to sink, and I seldom feel the bright relief. It's been the worst day since yesterday. If there's one thing I have said, is that the dreams I once had now lay in bed. As the four winds blow my wits through the door, it's been the worst day since yesterday. Falling down to you, sweet ground, where the flowers they bloom. Well, it's there I'll be found. Hurry back to me, my wild calling. It's been the worst day since yesterday. Right in front of me, color of her eyes were the color of insanity. Crushed beneath her wave like a ship I could not reach the shore. We're all just dancers on the devil's dance floor. Well, swing a little more, and there we go. Swing a little more next to me. Swing a little more, and there we go. Swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. Pressed against her face, I could feel her insecurity. Mother'd been a drunk and her father was obscurity. Nothing ever came from a life that was a simple one. Pull yourself together, girl, and have a little fun. Well, she took me by the hand, I could see she was a furry one. Her legs ran all the way up to heaven and past Avalon. Tell me something, girl, what it is you have in store. She said, come with me now on the devil's dance floor. Well, swing a little more, and there we go. Swing a little more next to me. Swing a little more, and there we go. Swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. Swing a little more on the devil's dance floor. Yeah!
Molly.
Flogging Molly.
Widdershins.
We're looking out at the Capitol Records building, and it looks like it has a paint job. It looks cleaner than usual, and they've had this weird black net over the top that faces our window, and I've been wondering what it was for and what it even was. And they just moved it to the other side of the building, and this side of the building is cleaner than it's ever been. It's not like gray and slightly dingy anymore. It's like totally white.
And it's radio, so it's good she described it so descriptively. But Flogging Molly is playing St. Patrick's Day 2 blocks from our house.
Where?
The Pantages. Wait, not the Pantages, the other one on Sunset. The other one where the band's playing. The Palladium. I knew it was a P, not the Pantages. That would have been funny.
They were tutus.
That would be funny. Well, apparently they're playing like any day now in Vegas at a casino.
Oh,
I've been hearing that, but St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, the Palladium. And, that's just a stone's throw from here.
And even if we had a babysitter and a dog sitter, last place I'd go is anywhere on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Flogging Molly.
Yeah, it's
at the Palladium.
Yeah,
that would be crazy.
Yeah, it would be crazy. It's always a crazy.
It's a short
Flogging Molly is
here,
always a wild show. Especially the first time we saw them, they opened up with that one, the Devil's Dance Floor, and they did the 4 taps on the drumsticks. And, by tap 2, the house was jumping. The song hadn't even started yet, and the whole house, the Catalyst. God, yeah, I was just off the hook before the song even started. Everybody knew what song was coming, but it's just too bad. Even if we had a dog sitter and a cat sitter, it's only 2 blocks away. No. Come back, play another time, though. But it's because it's a drinking holiday.
Yeah.
And I could say that, and it's not racist, because I got so much Irish in me. And sometimes you got a lot of Irish in you.
I knew you were going to go there.
Clown to the left of me.
Joker to the right.
And you're turning to Widdershins Radio for your spiritual side. Twisted approach to the left-hand path. See how spiritual we are getting?
Yeah, we always get spiritual.
Getting some spirits.
We can't not get spiritual and spirits.
And I'm so spiritual. I don't even know exactly when St. Patrick's Day is. Well, I forget every year.
That's what I was looking at.
Is it one of those ones that changes? I know Easter changes.
No. It's March 17th always, which is this year it's a Sunday.
A Sunday. St. Patrick's Day.
So I bet you there are a lot of people who are taking an advanced day off on the next day, on the 18th. Like a vacation day or maybe a sick day or something.
Yeah, a lot of sick days.
Yeah.
Well, before I bitch about St. Patrick and shit, I've got to say, if you're listening to Widdershins, please don't let us hear you or in the chat room or anywhere else be bitching about everything and blaming Mercury like Mercury was Satan. Mercury gets blamed for everything that goes wrong whenever Mercury goes retrograde nowadays. And I don't know. When I was a kid, Mercury affected travel and communications. That was the 2 prime objectives of Mercury. And I'd seen effects. I'd seen communications get screwed up. And then as a ham radio operator, it's like one time Mercury retrograde, all my radios got fucked up. It's like that shit wouldn't work. Another time, my computer got fucked up. That wouldn't work. It was, mostly, communications device back then. And so I've seen the effects of Mercury retrograde, and it is a thing, but people have made it such a large thing. It's like Satan of our solar system. Mercury gets blamed for everything that goes wrong. People are talking about how their energy's all fucked up, how their love life's all fucked up. It's like, okay, well, maybe if your love life got fucked up due to communications problems, okay, maybe you could blame old Mercury.
Well, that's what most of the problems are about.
Well, yeah. But some people get really emotional. Your emotional problems. Well, unless your emotional problems are based on because of a lack of communication too. That could be like a Neptune retrograde or something else like that. Some other planet to blame for your lack of personal responsibility, control your lives. A bitch slap you. You're no witch. If you think like that, wake the fuck up. Step on your broomstick, kids.
And fly.
Fly.
Fly, kids.
Fly, man. Roll with that flow. Change that flow. If Mercury is going to do all these things to you, then you can do magics to overcome it. Take the reins. Don't take the ride of every planetary energy that comes into your sphere. You just go, whoa, I'm over here. Yeah. Oh, I'm over here. It's the full moon.
Like Sasha likes to say, you in charge.
That's right.
You're
in charge.
You're in charge.
I hope, you know.
You can harness all these energies.
I hope our audience is mostly witches. And those kind of people, and magic workers, and that kind of thing.
But, I think that even works in the mundane world. Like,
absolutely,
you need to take charge of your life.
Absolutely. We have, you know, many images in our minds of our seafaring ancestors of many cultures, and the broad sail, you know, it was like pirate ships and the British ships coming over here. The broad sail was once the way. It was the only way. It was the only way. Somebody figured out how to make a sail and used the power of the wind to move a boat, and then many sails to move a ship. And you really were limited to where the wind was blowing. It's like you had to have the wind at your back. You could go left and you could go right. You could angle your path, but you had to have the wind at your back, or you're going nowhere. If you got the wind at your front and it lasts for days, well, your ship's going to drop sails and sit there in the ocean for days, going fucking nowhere. You had to have the wind at your back. But then, somewhere, I don't know who first invented it, but somebody's ancestors invented the sails we will see on sailboats to this day. The triangular sail, the straight sail. It's you know, it's just mounted very differently than the old broad sail. And the reason for that sail was because you could sail into the wind. You can use the power of the wind to propel you, even though you're going into the wind, by angling the sail creatively and doing all kinds of crazy shit after the fact. But the purpose for that sail was to sail into the wind, and it worked. And you could use that wind to propel you into itself. Brilliant. It changes fucking everything. If you have forces against you, maybe you need a triangular sail. Sail into those forces, not always with the flow. Sometimes you have to, you know, angle yourself, use the flow against you, for you. A million ways, you know, we could go on and on to, you know, we could have shows to teach you how to do that, but I have channels and things that teach that, you know, like my Gumroad channel and the YouTube channel is, you know, teach you how to do that stuff. My Facebook is mostly witches and hoodoo people, root workers, and poleras and poleros and babalaos and what's the voodoo people called? Hudons, some hudons.
I'm not probably butchering that.
Yeah.
It starts with an H. Put an H.
Ifas and I just, you know, we have one thing in common. All these groups, magicians. There's probably, I have a couple family members, and I think there's one guy that I knew from the old Grand Theft Auto that we somehow reunited through Grand Theft Auto, and he was on my friends list. Probably tripping about my world, because through the internet and Facebook and social media, you know, I've crafted a world around me to where my life is normal. Okay, it's harder to do out in the regular world here, the exterior world, but the internet social world, it's like that's the normal. When I talk magic and stuff, that's just normal. It's not weird to me, except if, you know, those exceptions that I mentioned. But then there's so many of them. And a lot of times I'll accept a friend. Usually I'll accept a friend request based on how many mutual friends we have. And then I'll look and see, you know, who are those mutual friends. because, some of y'all are shady. And so, there's this whole world of witches, and then all my other pages, those are all witches, and then the groups that I follow and I'm involved in, which is like fucking soon as Mercury's just was getting ready to go retrograde, the bitching, the whining, the moaning, the complaining, the preparing, the smudging with sage, on and on and on. It's just like, God, really, people, you're scared little fucking animals. That's not, you're not being witches. Stop that. Stop that. You need to work with the forces. There are always tides and flows and ebbs and tidal waves, and shit happens. And you got to flow with it and steer around it and navigate entirely new courses. But please don't let me hear you bitching about Mercury retrograde every time everything fucking goes wrong or anything goes wrong. It's like, Mercury's got enough problems, gets blamed for enough shit. Like Satan. Yeah, Satan gets a bad rap, blamed for everybody's shortcomings. Like you, like me. Not that, when you say left-hand path, people think you're Satanist anyways, but I don't really believe in Satan, but I believe in Satan as an egregore of the excuses for mankind's weaknesses. And in that, a very powerful being, maybe as powerful as a God, but an artificially created construct. That's my view.
That's your view of Satan?
Yeah, Satan. I don't believe in Satan, but in that context, I do.
Yeah.
An egregore. Mm-hmm. And maybe it was created by the authors of the Bible originally. I don't know where these ideas, there's lots of theories. I think Persia, Hasatan, the adversary of God. That's like the first idea. And I don't even know when that was in Persia, but, I think that's the original idea of a thing like Satan, and similar name too. But now it's just an excuse. Everybody blames everything that happened on Satan.
A scapegoat.
Maybe that's hence the horns, huh? Yeah.
I bet you we could find the origins of the term scapegoat, and we can see. But keep talking.
I know there are many origins. I do know that in Athens, Greece, the scapegoat was a goat that was cast upon the goat at a certain time of year all of the sins of the entire state, and then they'd sacrifice the goat rather brutally too. But I believe there's but I think there's an older.
Let's see what Wikipedia has to say about it.
I saw something older than that.
For scapegoat?
Yeah.
Like his origins?
Yeah.
This article is about scapegoat in its religious and ritualistic sense. For the social... they're directing you elsewhere if you want something else. Okay. In the Bible, a scapegoat is an animal which is ritually burdened with the sins of others, then driven away. The concept first appears in Leviticus, in which a goat is Leviticus, in which a goat is designated to be cast into the desert to carry away the sins of the community. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff here. But I want to say, you keep talking. I want to see if scapegoat and Satan are somehow connected.
Okay. But so, right away, don't make Mercury your scapegoat. Mercury's a planet. And, there's some energies, some pulls, some ebbs from every planet in our solar system, and it just happens to be the closest one to the sun. Hence, its orbit is shorter, and we pass by it often because our orbit is further out, people. That's why it goes retrograde so often. Why the planets outside in the solar system don't. And when they do, they stay retrograde for years and shit. It is not rocket surgery, but something like that. You ready?
Well, I don't know exactly where this is going to go, but let me read.
That's always good on Wittershins.
Well, we don't know where it's going to go?
Yeah.
Or how it's going to end.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, so this is on. Okay, it's loading. Academia.edu. Sympathy for the devil. Satan as a scapegoat. Okay, scroll. See, I don't even know. Is it a bunch of memes? It's doing weird stuff.
It looks like a bunch of memes.
And then it wants
you can't see it.
It wants me to download something that
I
will not do.
No.
Okay.
Don't download stuff, especially during Mercury retrograde. I'm just fucking with you. Come on.
Okay, the scapegoat dilemma. A discussion of whether the Hebrew scapegoat represents Christ or Satan. I would say they leveled a bunch of stuff at Christ. He was a scapegoat too.
Well, and this God.
Oh, this is.
I would have to look because is the Hebrew reference predate the Athens reference? I wouldn't think so.
This one, are Satanists today's scapegoats?
Wow.
The Joker is Satan, and so are we. Oh. You're the Joker to the right.
You're the clown to the left. Yeah.
This is about the Joker is Satan. Excuse me.
Any rate, just stop blaming Mercury. Stop.
Yeah, that was a long tangent.
Yeah. I work with the cycles of the moon. I'll try and do new moon things on new moon things. Full moon things on the full moon times. But when you got to do a thing, you got to do a thing. And if the tides, if you're working against the tide, you need to figure out a way to have a triangular sail and move against that tide without fighting that tide. That's the beauty of the triangular sail, the triangle that we use in magic. I'm sure there's some. Now that I'm saying that, I'm going to have to figure out, how that works, how that triangle that we use in magic is doing those kind of things, using that triangle to navigate things. All right, I'm giving away way too much of what I'm going to do with what I just thought up live on Wittershins. What were you going to say?
About what?
You were talking about scapegoats. You were done with scapegoats.
I've had enough scapegoating in my life to be done. I am done. Done.
Yeah.
So, yeah. New topic. Wait, what?
I don't know where that story comes from, where the guy goes to his psychiatrist and he says, doctor, my life just sucks. Everything's horrible. My relationships are horrible. My house is horrible. My whole life just sucks. He goes, get goat. And okay, get a goat? Yeah, get goat. So he gets.
Why does the doctor have an accent?
I don't know. I think because.
Was it German
was
doctor?
It one of your relatives that told me the story? When I heard the story, there was an accent.
That's not the story.
What is okay? Do you want to tell the story?
The story is that he went to a rabbi.
Okay. Well, you tell the damn story since you're here for once.
No, okay. So
go ahead, do it.
This guy goes to his rabbi. He says, "Rabbi, I need advice. My life is just horrible. The kids make so much noise. They run all around. My wife is always yelling at me. It's just total chaos in the house. I do not know what to do. I'm at my wit's end." So the rabbi scratches his beard and says, "Get goat." So the guy gets a goat. And then a week passes by. And he goes, "I don't know what to do, there's even more chaos now, the goat's running amok, and all this stuff is going on, it's worse, I don't know what to do, crapped on my bed, ate my clothes, ate the food," and so the rabbi goes, "Okay, get rid of goat." He's like, "Okay." So then another week goes by, and the guy goes to the rabbi, and he's like, "My life is so much better now." And so the moral of the story is, it could always be worse.
Get goat.
Yeah, and then as soon as the goat is gone, it's like, wow, life is so great once the goat is gone. So what y'all got to do is get rid of your goat. and it'll be cool.
Or get a goat.
Yeah, well, first
you got get goat.
Well, that sounds like if you've got like huge problems, you've already got the goat.
Oh, you already got the goat.
The goat's already in your life.
You got the goat.
So get the goat out of your life.
Get rid of goat.
And for redemption. No, that maybe not redemption, but your life will be better.
Better. Take that from Wittershins.
Wittershins.
Go!
Give me a bomb, a Molotov. It's a coup d'etat. Generalissimo sets up shop, stepping out of line, next on a block. Armies marching through the streets, trust no shock, trust will need. Coup d'etat. Coup d'etat. Push from the left and a shove from the right. It's all planned out. We'll do it tonight. Push the president and his wife. We're hoping for ransom or take their lives. Attack their embassy. They are our enemies. The president, they smoke cigars. Anyone he does not like. He shoots or puts behind bars. Coup d'etat! Coup d'etat! Go!
The Circle Jerks on Wittershins Radio. Double shot. Or Coup d'etat. Which, you know, I'm listening to it. I was going, wow, that's a very appropriate song for our troubling times. That's from the 80s. That was Live Fast, Die Young. You know, probably, you know, those songs, you know, probably what you know, made me what I was. I tried that. Didn't work out. I didn't die young. And then you gotta do something with your fucking life. We play.
And you're not going to anymore. You're mine.
Well, then Stellar Corpses. They're the things that live fast, die young, and leave a stellar corpse. Mm-hmm. So that's just like, you know, a couple generations, an evolution of that concept within punk, and leave a stellar corpse. I I love seeing the thread of things like that throughout history. But Circle Jerks, very important band in my upbringing. And, while there was, listen to that song, thinking, how that may well become necessary in our country for the first time. I was, originally thinking when I started playing, I think that's what just happened in Venezuela. And we're wrapped up in a lot of things. There's not a whole lot of coverage going on in there, and that's what they seem to be saying is is a U.S.-backed coup. Haven't seen one of those in a long time, and I can't imagine Trump pulling one off. Maybe that's why we know about it. He's just not good at this kind of shit. He is no Bush. Bush could do that kind of thing. I haven't seen that kind of thing in a while. But just, it brings back memories from when that song, Coup d'etat, by the Circle Jerks, came out in the 80s. We're back in Reagan times. And, doing that shit all over Central and South America. Secret Wars and the Contras and all that shit. You kids probably, can Google that now. But scary times we live in.
Yes.
Always. What was I going to talk? Oh, St. Patty's Day is coming. We talked about like when that is.
Sunday this year.
And I don't know if I said it last year on this show. I've said it on every other format that I'm on. Don't do that. Don't wish me happy St. Patty's Day. I don't like that. It's. I have a lot of Irish, and with that Irish, other Irish people see St. Patty's Day as this like Irish holiday, and there's there are going to be parades in New York for St. Patty's Day, and it's all a celebration of Irish heritage.
I think it's called the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
St. Patrick's Day Parade, actually, yes. We just saw what Harrison Ford in The Fugitive used the St. Patrick's Day Parade to dodge his pursuers. Just saw that. Probably why that's on right now, because it was St. Patty's Day Parade. But where was I going to go with that?
About not wishing you a St. Patty's Day.
Yeah. For Irish people that remember their ancestors, their Irish ancestors, the pagan ancestors. I recognize my Catholic ancestors too, because you have to, but I also recognize that Catholicism absorbed a huge amount of paganism in Ireland. It's a place where that's even more so. So I acknowledge those ancestors too. But St. Patrick was not there to do nice things for pagans. And people always say, it's there to drive out the Druids. And I said, well, yeah, it's really a simplistic way of telling the tale. He did battle with the Druids a lot. A lot of people believe that symbolically, that there were no snakes in Ireland. St. Patrick was allegedly there. They drove the snakes from Ireland. There was no snakes in Ireland. There would have never been snakes in Ireland. There'd be no reason for snakes to evolve in great abundance in the climate there. Snakes like warm. Snakes were a symbol in the ancient tongue of wisdom, and so it's often been said that the wisdom represented the Druids. There was also the Crom Cruach, another pagan sect there that it's believed that other people said that St. Patrick was there to do war with them, not so much the Druids. Debate goes on and on and on and on and on, and so I saw this thing and. See if I can sort through my damn things that I saved here today. Weapons of the Irish gods. That's always good. Oh, dear. Of course, I saved too many stories. I didn't organize them. The real story of St. Patrick. There we go. I went to a blog off of the Oxford.com. I thought that seemed a reputable source. But let's see. By Philip Freeman. Everyone knows about St. Patrick, the man who drove the snakes out of Ireland, defeated fierce druids in contests of magic, and used a shamrock to explain the Christian Trinity to the pagan Irish. It's a great story, but none of it's true. The shamrock legend came along centuries after Patrick's death, as did the miraculous battles against the Druids. Forget about the snakes. Ireland never had any to begin with. No snakes, no shamrocks, and he wasn't even Irish. The real story of St. Patrick is much more interesting than the myths. What we know of Patrick's life comes only through the chance survival of two remarkable letters which he wrote in Latin in his old age. In them, Patrick tells the story of his tumultuous life and allows us to look intimately inside the mind and soul of the man who lived over 1,500 years ago. We may know more biographical details about Julius Caesar or Alexander the Great, but nothing else from ancient times opens the door into the heart of a man more than Patrick's letters. They tell the story of an amazing life, of pain and suffering, self-doubt, struggle, ultimately of faith and hope in the world which was falling apart around him. The historical Patrick was not Irish at all, but a spoiled and rebellious young Roman citizen living a life of luxury in 5th century Britain. He was suddenly kidnapped from his family's estate as a teenager and sold into slavery across the sea in Ireland. For 6 years, he endured brutal conditions as he watched over his master's sheep on a lonely mountain in a strange land. He went to Ireland, atheist, but there he heard what he believed was the voice of God. One day he escaped and risked his life to make a perilous journey across Ireland, find a passage back to Britain. And let's see, Patrick wasn't the first Christian to reach Ireland. He wasn't even the first bishop. What made Patrick successful was his dogged determination and the courage to face whatever dangers lay ahead, as well as the pains, facing the pains in his life. None of this came naturally to him, however. He was a man of great insecurities who constantly wondered what he was really cut out for. So, it's a huge damn long article, but very different picture than the magical saint. You know, all these saints have to have done magic. They have to have done miracles. Perhaps the magic that he did against the Druids or in his battles against the Druids, those are the miracles. I don't even know what his miracle was. But great. Celebrate your Irish heritage. That's great and everything, but just the St. Patrick thing is just fucking, it's old, and if you know old stuff, it's just offensive and it's stupid. He's one of those saints, one of those not Irish saints, but he's really strongly held saint in Ireland that is not or was not a pagan god. There's no pagan god associated with St. Patrick, but the majority of the Irish saints were pagan gods, and one goddess that I know of, Bridget. Maybe two. I kind of think there was another one, but the only one anybody ever knows about is Bridget. So, no St. Patrick's Day, man.
Yeah. We'll still be having a good time. But
we'll send the kid to school in Green so he doesn't get shit. But,
no, it's on a Sunday.
We won't send the kid to school. Sunday school.
In Green.
Yeah, in Green.
He's going to skip Sunday school that week.
He's going to skip Sunday school that week. All right, sweet. We're on the same page.
We can sleep in.
Clown to the left of me.
Joker to the right.
And then there's Easter. And that's I don't know,
The bunny and
second
the egg.
Sunday after the equinox, right?
I
There's
don't
some
even
weird
know.
way.
I mean, yeah, it's always on a different Sunday,
Yeah.
but I don't remember how that works.
But how to fix the date? It's about the moon and the equinox, and when they fall, that's what decides Easter. So it's still rather pagan, but I don't really understand the. I don't remember the equation offhand, exactly what it is, but I know
like
it,
Diwali.
Yeah, it's related to those
either.
things. Yeah, Diwali is
So
a new moon in November.
No, it's
Or
not.
it
Sometimes Diwali's in October.
Can it be in October?
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it is. It has to do with the new moon, but there's some weird formula to it that I don't remember it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But the fruit of our loins was born on Diwali. Sweet little guy.
Yeah. So, Easter.
Yeah.
So, Jesus, you went to Catholic school.
Yes.
I managed to dodge that. Really close call. Maybe you remember. Jesus gets crucified on Friday.
Yeah.
And then in the tomb on Friday. Or do they start Thursday? Because I thought he got crucified for a really long time.
Yeah, I think maybe they started on a Thursday.
Okay, maybe they started. Okay, but at any rate, Friday's in the tomb.
Okay.
Okay, and it's supposed to be 3 days and he rose,
Yeah.
which is Sunday.
So Friday, Saturday,
So it's
Sunday.
like not whole 24-hour days, apparently.
Yeah, they weren't doing like.
Unless they did it on the crack of
how
dawn
we would do,
Friday.
days if we were like to run our business with those days. Like we'd have, like Rover is like boarding is 24 hours. So this is not like 3 days is not 3 24-hour days.
It's like,
It's
what
just
time
like
does the crucifixion
Thursday,
department
Friday,
open? Is the
Friday,
critical point
Saturday,
of this discussion.
Sunday, 3 days.
Okay.
What was your question?
So then, what time does the crucifixion department open on Friday? That's critical in this math.
Yeah.
thing.
See, I don't know.
Yeah. Huh.
But I think they're counting like Friday is a day, no matter how many hours. Saturday is a day, no matter how many hours. And Sunday is a day, no matter how many hours. Like if you're counting it in 24-hour increments, that could even be 2 days. But I don't think they're doing it that way.
Because the mythos from which, where the Christians get that idea was where the sun god dies for 3 days and then rises. I mean, I think that's more like 3 proper days.
Yeah. That sounds like 3 proper days if it's going by the sun cycles.
Yeah.
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 But this it doesn't sound like it was.
They didn't do the math.
Well, they were just like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's 3 days.
Yeah. Okay. So then Jesus rose for the. Okay. Yeah. But then your average kid, and maybe the right wing would call this part of the grand conspiracy of it all. But your average kid that's not in a predominantly Christian household or in a Christian school, they know about like the Easter Bunny and leprechauns. So you remember there was a kindergarten our kid was in, and they came in the morning, and somebody with green sparkly footprints had left footprints all over the classroom, and they were led to believe, without actually saying it, that a leprechaun had been in the classroom. So it's like that's kind of cool. They didn't really talk that much. I think that was Grass Valley, so they didn't really force Christian stuff on them, even though it was a very Christian-dominated place, I would say. Mm-hmm. But there was like a leprechaun thing.
Well, it was like the best school in the county, so that probably was good because they didn't force religion on people.
Yeah. Yeah, so all right, so kids know about like leprechauns, and the Easter Bunny, and Easter egg hunts, And what else? Kids, candy. They're getting candy, but that's usually associated with the Easter egg.
The hard-boiled Easter eggs.
Yeah, they're making the Easter eggs,
dyeing
them.
I used to have a lot of fun dyeing Easter eggs when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know where we'd hide them now. The dog run?
I guess we got to figure that part out soon. Because, our kid does that too. But anything involving eggs is a pagan piece of the holiday or the time of year, the Ostara.
We can make like real ones, do hard-boiled eggs, and dye them and stuff. And then when he finds them, we can make deviled eggs because they'll already be ready, hard-boiled.
That's win-win.
Yeah. Just have to peel them.
So when I was growing up, we knew rabbits, especially around spring, and definitely hares. They symbolized fertility. And
even when it's not spring.
Even when it's not spring, yeah. But eggs definitely symbolized fertility, and we know that the Celts would paint them red around springtime, symbolizing fertility. And so we always kind of thought, maybe that's how this the Easter bunny and the Easter eggs and that kind of shit. What the fuck the rabbit has to do with eggs in the first place? Maybe that's how they morphed together. We could see how that happened. But then as time went on and we learned more and more about ancient pagan cultures, we come up with a Scandinavian story that I remember I heard it late 90s. Somebody on the spring equinox while driving up to Humboldt, I heard it on a radio show. These witches told a story that I never heard about, and they called the goddess Ostra, and I think most people pronounce her name Ostara. And it was this classic old folk tale about the goddess Ostara, and this young girl finds a bird with a broken wing in the forest. It's around March, Scandinavia. It's fucking cold. Still a fuckload of snow. Just the hint of melting at this point. And she calls upon the goddess Ostara to come forth and do whatever she can to help this injured bird. And so I don't know. It's not. I have a lot of that blood too, but really haven't followed the pantheon much. But it occurs to me that the goddess Ostara, it's kind of a twisted way of doing things, because her solution for this, when she comes forth, was to change the bird into a hare. The hare would survive the cold. And this hare just happened to lay rainbow-colored eggs. And it's like, that's the most clear-cut connection to the Easter bunny and the Easter eggs and where the hell that comes from. And I've always said this my entire life in witchcraft and paganism. It's like the pagan stuff, the stuff of our ancestors is right in our faces in the holidays that we celebrate, but usually in the most bastardized and plasticized forms. But the elements are right there. The symbolism of Samhain, the stuff going on around Yule, all of it's right in our faces, but just we're not seeing it. And I think that the good part is that the Christians didn't catch it either, or all that symbolism would have been changed way before now. But so Easter, Ostara. Ostara would be, this spring equinox. Same holidays. Just all of the old Christianity, old Catholicism, adopted these pagan holidays into itself, and as such have an equivalent holiday in them, and allowed a lot of paganism to survive in places where Catholicism was dominant. And thanks for stealing our shit. Made it easy. You're listening to Widdershins, and I think I got a thing or two. Couple interesting stories. Oh, yeah, wait, I got to talk about that thing next after this one.
I come down the steps, I slip on the ice. Santa Claus been looking, who's been naughty, who's been nice. I'm looking for one thing real tonight. And Jesus, he comes up to me. Jesus, he sits down.
Dan Byrne with One Thing Real on Waiter Shit. The song takes me way back to the free radio days. That's why I remembered that damn song. But I almost forgot. Closer to home, this other thing happened. It's a conspiracy, I tell you. Many of you out there may know, and if you don't know, why don't you know? You might know of Freighter Xavier. I just call him Freighter X. Freighter Xavier from Mind and Magic on YouTube, Mystery School. The channel is called Mind and Magic. Colleague of mine from way back. We're tight. Friend of mine. I was able to see his face way before most people were able to see his face. And I never told anybody or shared with anybody his face because that was his thing. He's secretive. He's spooky on his channel. You don't see his face. You never see his face on his channel. And nobody ever does. As me, I'm the exact opposite. It's like sometimes that's all you see is my face and my hands. And sometimes I'll draw shit on a piece of paper and hold it up at you. Not a whole lot of graphic art going on my channel. A whole different, opposite thing. But on similar missions, Freighter Xavier's stated mission for a long time that he would always say was he's demystifying magic. I was like, well, fuck yeah, that's me too. I'm more a scientific magic. Is that a word? No. I'm going to make that a word. But demystifying magic, showing its scientific components, has always kind of been my thing. So that's probably why we got along. Now, we have people used to, back when we were in Santa Cruz, people would say, refer to everything as the pagan community. And I would say, would to respond with incorrections, the pagan communities. I always said that, the magical communities. There are many, and they are varied, and there are factions within factions, and wars and squabbles and shit going on. And you know about this. You listen to this show. YouTube's got that too, but we've got our own community. There's over time there was, I never heard of anybody doing it till a student of mine was teaching magic on YouTube and kind of goaded me into doing that. And there were a couple people I met early on that were out there doing that. And as time went on, it became a huge thing. And there's all kinds of people teaching all kinds of magics on YouTube. And some of them are teaching it well, and some of them suck ass at it. And all points between. We have our YouTube magical community out there. And Freighter Xavier called my attention to this thing that must be a conspiracy. His channel and my channel, this is the first place that we saw this. If you go on YouTube and you're on somebody's channel, a thing would appear over to the right. And I forget where it appears if you're on the phone app, but it still appears. Related channels. And this is how our community, it's kind of, this is how we became networked in the first place, and how most of us came to know each other is because other people's videos would pop up next to our videos. Like for me, at least, other people's videos would pop up next to my videos as related videos, and go, how's that related? And I'd click on it, and then I, would come to know these people or not know them. As you come say, they're stupid, I don't want to talk to them anymore. Or, I'd contact them, or like it or something like that. And I came to know a lot of colleagues in the YouTube magical communities that way. Well, this related channels feature didn't exist on my page and on his page. And I was running around when he told me about it first, and when I got back from picking the kid up from school and all that kind of crap. I sat down and I looked, and I saw that too. And so I poked around. I went on YouTube and I went to, there was some musician. I went to their page, and they had, over to the right, there was two things. There was popular channels and there was related channels. And the related channels were about music on the music one. I went to the Christian ones and related channels. Related channels, Jesus this, Christ that, Savior this, Savior that. And I clicked around through, people that I knew, just randomly, 5 or 6 of them, just to get an idea. And sure enough, there was no related channels in there anymore. Now, I will have to do more research on this, but the 2 or 3 random categories that I sampled had related channels functional on their pages. The magic and witchcraft related channels, 6 of them at least that I sampled, in addition to Mind and Magic, did not have a related channels. Or related, the related function on there. You find out differently or you find out the same. I'd like to know. Let us know at widdershensradio@gmail.com. That's widdershensradio@gmail.com. You can send us all kinds of stuff. But I'd like to know if you find some of that out. Let us know. That's what I saw, and I tried it from my phone. I tried it from a laptop. I tried it from a different account because YouTube one day if you search out there, you'll find my my Freakville 1309 page. It's my standard page. It's like 7,000 subscribers or something. Hundreds of videos. I don't even know how much. And then this show. This show's rebroadcast about a half an hour later on YouTube, and it's posted up there, so you can see the archives. You can listen to the archives here on Spreaker, or you can listen to them there on YouTube. So I have all that, but then YouTube, it fucked with me one time. It tried to make me do it today when I was signing on. It tried to make me set up another channel, and I already accidentally have a channel. It's like Michael Carell 13 or something like that. On YouTube that has 2 videos because it fucked with me and made me accidentally make that channel exist. Can't figure out how to delete that damn channel.
Dilute your potency.
Yeah, but I've got subscribers on the channel.
That's what I'm saying.
Got 2 videos.
You've got to divide your time now. You're diluting yourself.
Yeah. Well, then so after it did that, then my phone automatically sent my videos to this new channel until I caught it, and then oh shit, now I gotta manually send them over to this channel too. But it ended up with 2 videos on this other channel. Has the same logo, has my name, and only 2 videos. I should go over there and see if I can get the commercials turned on over there if I get enough hits. Yeah, fuck with me, fuck with you, man. Don't fuck me, don't fuck you. You talked about St. Patrick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so now this. Now, if I want to celebrate my Irishness this time of year, I want to read more stuff like this. This I got off of Pathos.com, and I never searched through all of the entire pagan section on Pathos. Oh my God! From the good, the bad, the ugly, all of them in there. It's a lot of people I like. Some people are just
really?
Total, just oh my God,
the
idiots.
Ones are
yeah,
in there
I mean,
too?
I don't know how you even get on Pathos. Maybe just sign up, make an account. I don't know how it happens, but I have some very respected author friends writing really good stuff on Pathos. So I those are the articles I tend to see on Pathos, and so it kind of led me to, think it was more reputable, and then
But they've got more labored ones too.
Then I went and searched the pagan section and scroll. I never finished scrolling. I just had to stop. Oh God, really? I'm face palming. You can't see that. You can't hear that on the radio. But then some stuff really good, like this one. You'll like it too, probably. So for St. Patrick's Day and our Irish heritage, I want to think about the weapons of the Irish gods. There were 4 cities in which there were learning, lore, and scientific and diabolic arts, to wit, Phalias, and Gorius, Murius, and Findius. Out of Phalias was brought the stone of Phal, which was in Tara. It used to roar under every king that would take the realm of Ireland. Out of Gorius was brought the spear of Lugh. Had no battle was ever won against it, or him who held it in his hand. Out of Findius was brought the sword of Nuada. When it was drawn from its deadly sheath, no one ever escaped from it, and it was irresistible. Out of Murius was brought Dagda's cauldron. No company ever went from it unthankful. 4 wizards there were in 4 cities. Morpheres was in Phalias, Iris was in Garius, Urius was in Findius, Simius was in Murius. Those are the 4 poets of whom the Tua de learnt lore and science stokes. Oh my goodness, and that is from the second battle of Mage Turret. And I've always been fascinated by these particular weapons because I've known about them, and I have more to say about them in a minute. In the Yellow Book of Lacan, the text called The 4 Jewels of the Tuatha De Danann describes the 4 treasures in greater detail than the CMT2. It describes the 4 treasures, the 4 Isle cities of learning, and the 4 druids, the antediluvians, who taught the gods their skills and magic, the first island or city of Phalias, from which comes the stone of sovereignty placed at Tara and upon which the coronation of the righteous kings was made. It was named Lia Phal, and it is said that the stone no longer cries out since the birth or baptism of the Son of the Christian God, because a spirit was expelled from it. I personally think it was a symbolic cry that came from the people who elected the rightful king. The second is Gorius. From the name came Nuada's sword, from which no one could run, and after they were wounded by it, when drawn from its scabbard, it attracted those whom it was drawn against in a way that he could not resist it from the bearer, or he could not resist its bearer. The wizard in this city of Estrus described as a noble and keen desires. Third Isle, city of Findius, from which the spear of Lugh, the slag Lugh, came. The druid in the city described Uscius, the fair seer. No battle was ever maintained against the bearer of this spear. Lugh, due to having the spear, might have gained the name Lugh Lamfahara, Lugh of the long arm, but he may have also gained his name from the use of the sling against the Balor, or his other spear, the gay assail. I mean, Lugh was like the master of all things. So there's a lot of stories of Lugh. The fourth was Murius, from which came the Dagda's cauldron, the Undre, because it is never dry of nourishment. None walk away from it unsatisfied. The wizard in this city was called Simius, and he is described as ever fierce. His city was called the Fortress of Pinnacles. The 4 presents were fetched with them hither by the nobles of the Tuatha Dé Danann, a sword, a stone, a cauldron of worth, and a spear for the death of great champions. From Phalius came hither the Leafile, which shouted under the kings of Ireland, the sword in the hand of the nimble Lugh from the Gorius, a choice of vast riches. From far away Findius over the sea was brought the deadly spear of Nuada. From Murius, wait a minute. See, they fucked up there. That's got to be bad editing. I don't know if the ancients fucked that up. It was the sword of Nuada, the spear of Lugh. We just read that. We were listening. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sometimes I have to let you make mistakes.
Well, no. That's what they said there. But I see that. And it's a longer story, and you should go, read it. It's a very recent story, but I know of these things. And I know the Nazis knew about these things, and the Nazis were consumed with these things. Himmler specifically, and Himmler influenced Hitler greatly. And he had this whole mystical thing going on. He believed that the secrets, the SS, were the reincarnated knights of the Round Table, and that King Arthur's castle was this castle in, I think, Belgium, that he would have these rituals, these initiation rituals in, and I don't know if it was his influence or he influenced Hitler, but as such, archaeology was born because the Nazis were in search of ancient artifacts. The whole the Raiders of the Lost Ark thing, partially true. They absolutely were searching for the Ark of the Covenant. They were searching for ancient magical weapons from ancient tales, and absolutely they would have searched for the Ark of the Covenant, and they did search for the Ark of the Covenant. The rest they make a movie around, but that did happen. They were specifically searching for the Sword of Nuada. The Sword of Nuada is believed to be what a lot of us would call Excalibur, the Sword of Arthur, and this is why Merlin presented the sword as given to him from a spirit from a stream, a goddess of a stream, gave him this ancient magical sword to give to Arthur to do all this stuff. That the Sword of Nuada, the Spear of Lugh. A lot of people speculated over the years that the Nazis actually got that one. And that from the Spear of Lugh, the Nazis reverse engineered the rocket. They suddenly had a burst of progress in their science of rocketry, and the more detailed tales of the Spear of Lugh was that he would let it loose from his hand, and it would go out and take out entire legions of Roman soldiers, and then just return to his hand, and nobody could resist this spear. And people have theorized. I don't know what I think about any of that. That's how the Nazis came up with the rocket, and then the rocket became the missile, and then other people got that technology too. But the Nazis were consumed with finding these ancient mystical technologies of war. And that other one, I forget even what they called it, the cauldron. I also heard that is the cauldron of Caradwyn in ancient battle texts in where these gods like Lugh and Nuada and Dagda, they're running around, they're in physical form, they're battling. It's kind of like this magical battle. They're like superheroes, and they get deified later, really, because of their actions on the battlefield. And one was this cauldron. And as I recall it, in one of these texts, that they would throw the dead soldiers into the cauldron, and they would come back out as like zombie warriors. And just so no matter how many of your warriors got killed, you still had this army of zombie warriors. I don't know if they knew back then they took a headshot to take out a zombie warrior. Yeah. It took a while for that word to spread.
Headshot.
You didn't have newspapers, you didn't like write or read or anything like that. They chiseled shit on rocks.
You did?
Yeah.
Huh.
Rocks don't travel very far, you know.
They don't?
No. You didn't know that?
No.
Clown to the left of me.
Joker to the right?
Exactly.
Why, where'd you go? Woke up to find you warmly by my side. You woke up and melted through the night. Head on a pillow, hard as glass. Hard-headed me never thought to ask. Up Big Rock Candy Mountain, slide down the soda fountain. So often I stop counting. You are spinning off into candy floss. Whipped cream and other delights smother my dreams every night. Biting candy hard as a rock. Hard-headed me never gave it a thought. Why, you are drifting off. It's trick or treat whenever we meet. What if I decide to smell your feet? Will you give me something nice to eat tonight? Why? Where'd you go? Wake up spitting candy corn. Whipped cream drowning every night. Smother my dreams with your delights. Up Big Rock Candy Mountain, slide down the soda fountain. So often I stop counting. You are drifting off. Why, where'd you go? Up Big Rock Candy Mountain, you can climb back down and we will spin cotton sugar pleasant under glass. Up Big Rock Candy Mountain, 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 up Big Rock Candy Mountain.
and the way to a better life. He was convinced he had the answer, and he compelled people to follow along. But the hunger never vanished, and the man was banished, and the village right up at night. At a time when wise men peered through glass tubes towards the sky, the heavens changed in predictable ways, and one man was able to find that he thought he found the answer, and he was quick to write his revelation. But as they were scrutinized in his colleagues' eyes, he soon became a mockery. Don't tell me about the answer, 'cause then another one will come along soon. I don't believe you have the answer. I've got ideas too. But if you got enough naivety and you got conviction, then the answer is perfect for you. Sits choking on his discharge, overwhelmed by industry, searching for a modern day savior from another place, inclined for charity. Everyone begging for an answer without regard to validity. The searching never ends, it goes on and on and on for eternity. Then the answer is perfect for you. The answer is perfect for
you. Bad Religion on Winter Shins. And Halo Benders before that. Mm-hmm. I forgot we even had that in there. So many random things on from Big Rock Candy Mountain, baby.
Slide down the soda fountain.
Slide down the soda fountain.
Take you to the candy shop.
Take you to the candy shop. Oh, what the fuck was all that? Winter Shins! Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you, so we were talking about that stuff before. Check out my friend's page, Mind and Magic. Of course, that's MAGICK. Check out Frater Xavier, if you don't already know who he is. Been a good friend of mine. Hopefully we learn things from each other. I've learned things from him. Hopefully he's learned things from me. My whole Gumroad channel is because I learned about that from him. You can find me on YouTube at Freakphil1309. That's FREAKPHIL, and the number's 1309. And then, my more volatile teachings, Gumroad.com. Gum like gum on your shoe, and road like the road you're going to walk down with gum on your shoe. .com/witch school, which is of course spelled WITCHSKEWL. And then other things. I gotta tell you, if you haven't heard me say it before, Hexfest 2019. August 9th to the 11th. Join in the magic. Tales of the magic of the Crescent City of New Orleans stretch back over the centuries. It's an enigmatic place where voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, and even Christianity blend at the crossroads of spiritual power. On August 9th to the 11th, 2019, Brian Cain, Christian Day, and the Witches of New Orleans present Hexfest, a weekend of witchery held in the heart of the historic French Quarter. The conference opens with a riverboat ritual and dinner held on an authentic steamboat on the Mississippi River, followed by 2 full days of workshops, drumming, and ritual at the Bourbon's Orleans Hotel, a venue riddled with a history of hauntings. Hexfest has gathered witches, root workers, voodoo priests, and other magical teachers from within New Orleans and around the world to offer their time-honored wisdom. Between workshops, attendees will love the magical shopping and our on-site vending hall, where you can purchase powerful ritual tools, signed books, exquisite jewelry, and spellcrafts, handmade by true practitioners. Clear up the lung here. Presenters for the 2019 Hexfest hail from across the spectrum of witchcraft and magic and include Brian Cain, Christian Day, Austin Shippey, Byron Ballard, Carrie O'Crow, Christine Steffens, Dorothy Morrison, the Dragon Ritual Drummers, Fiona Horn, Hoodoo Sen Moise, Lady Rhea, Laura Tempest Zakroff, Michael Carell, Melissa Mayhem, Patricia Telesco, Rosemary Ellen Gilly, Sally Ann Glassman, Sandra Maria Wright, Sen Elias, Sarita Deste, Star Cassis, Star Ravenhawk, Witch Doctor Utu, and Yeshe Matthews. Whether you're a beginner or an advanced practitioner, Hexfest will help you discover the secrets of witchcraft and expand your mastery of the magical arts. I survived it again, honey.
Oh, yeah.
Just reading the Hex. I mean, I got to still survive Hexfest, but damn, I survived reading the list of. Oh my God, I've been to and plugged such lesser events.
I know. Why do you waste your time on lesser events?
Well, I don't know if we waste our time on this show, but before, when we were on other people's shows, before we had our own show, we would plug stuff. You know, there were lesser events. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. You know of what I speak.
Yeah.
You know about the endangered elephant in the room.
I do.
All that stuff. Okay. All right. Don't make me go there, man. Let's see. So, I'm sorry. I was reading your chats. Again, one of these days I'll have to test it again and see if Spreaker actually listened to any of my feedback. But there was one day right after Spreaker changed the mobile broadcast app that one of you said something really funny, and I went in there and I responded, and then we were like locked in that mode. There was no way to get back to the show.
And we were like totally traumatized.
We were traumatized. The song just kept playing, and there was nothing. I was like, I knew there's no way the show could go on. We tried everything. Captain, but we just couldn't make a run. And there was nothing we could do to save her. We had to abandon ship. There was no way to get out of that chat. So, shout out to the chat room. Hello, you all. I just can't. We just can't respond in the chat room. So I'm just shouting out to you. We're not ignoring you.
We're totally traumatized.
We're totally traumatized.
Not
going to go there because I don't want to. We can't have the show not go on. That's the prime directive, right?
Right.
We cannot violate the prime directive. The show must go on.
Right.
We have done the show from the dashboard of the car, stuck in traffic on Sunset Boulevard.
God, it's been, how long has it been? It hasn't been has it been over, it's been over a year. It's been over a year.
Since that happened?
Since we started this show.
Oh, God, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a year and a half. I think it was like July.
Okay.
July, back.
Yeah.
Yeah, back WeHo July.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got. I might have to upgrade to a larger storage package.
And the show's gonna just get bigger and bigger and bigger because we are digging deep, y'all.
Deep.
We're digging deep. The show is just gonna keep getting better.
Yeah.
Because we're digging deep. Now you turn it around.
Well, I'm looking at her, waiting for her to elaborate on the digging deep.
Stop.
Give it
Elaborate.
To
Listen.
All right, so we're going to dig deep. We're going to give until it hurts.
And elaborate.
And listen. Well.
So when we get the bigger package, we can totally elaborate.
Yeah, well, I'm probably, at least have to pay for a larger storage package. Mm-hmm. We've got a good broadcast package as far as the storage.
Yeah.
There's sending in, there's receiving.
We're moving up the food chain with that.
Yeah. There's two portions, the sending and the receiving portions of the package. Right? And sometimes you need to have a bigger receiving package because of all of the sending.
You're looking for a bigger receiving package?
No. No, but I think we're up to 36% of our storage capacity. So at some point, we'll have to look at that. But we're here every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. I was going to change that, but then other things changed.
You were going to change that? Oh, you're so sweet.
Yeah, I was thinking of changing that to 6 because the one time we had to do it the other way. But that's the other thing. Is the one time we had to do it the other way, we took the show on the road, and I finished the show on our way to pick you up at your secret mission. Mm-hmm. Sasha, the dog, everybody, the whole family in the car in rush hour.
My tribe.
Going the other way. Different, whole other Hollywood rush hour, the North Hollywood rush hour, I guess it would be.
Hollywood.
Yeah, but the first time we did that, we were Sunset Strip, all the way through Hollywood proper.
And it was Hollywood.
Through West Hollywood, all the way up here to Ho Ho.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep calling it Ho Ho, and eventually it's gonna catch on. We got WeHo, we got No Ho. And we're right here in Hollywood.
We're Ho-Ho.
We're Central Hollywood. It's Ho-Ho. Hollywood.
Yep.
Yeah, yo. Right over there. Can't see it. We're so close we can't see the Hollywood side.
Yeah, we're too close. Y'all, we're too close to the Hollywood side. We're too close to it. It's weird. Like, I look up, and there's, houses and stuff, and then there's, shrubbery and greenery, and I can see, that antenna that's next to, there's that red and white antenna that's next to it. We can see that.
You can see a piece of the letter.
You can kind of see a piece of the W or something.
Yeah.
And then, literally, when you walk one block
left or right,
east of our house, well, I think it's more east. Yeah. But it's there. It's right there. It's right there. And for some reason, we've got trees and stuff that are blocking it.
This drives the clown to the left of me crazy.
It really does. I do not understand how you can see it if you go down a block and you can't see it from our house. I do not understand.
Yes. Well, we just said it. We're too close to it.
That doesn't make sense to me. It does not make sense.
It's on a mountain, and there's a hill in between us and the mountain. We're too close to the hill. And you can see the mountain. And that mountain you can see from everywhere around Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because you're further away from the hill. It's like you can't see the forest through the trees. You can't see the mountain through the hill.
I know.
Yeah.
We need to chop those trees down.
It's
And we'll see it.
not really our property.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and figure out a way around that.
Hollywood problems, yo. Hollywood problems, man. You're in the hood, Hollywood. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. Let's see. I thought,
As he scared off a guy that was like next to our dog run.
yes.
So there's close calls.
Yeah.
As he growled at him and he ran away.
Yeah. Everybody's packing a 9-iron.
9-iron?
Nobody's gonna get that.
I don't get it.
Malibu's most wanted. It's tough in the streets. Everybody's
I
packing a
know
9.
that,
There's a
but
9-iron.
he didn't say 9-iron.
I know,
You said that.
I know.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but nobody will get it. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. Validation, finally. We got this story. It was in the... Where the fuck did I get this? ReligionNews.com. Witchcraft becomes a political stance and a booming business. February 14th, 2019. Last month, I attended a witches' gathering. Technically, it was a full moon ritual, an open to the public event at Catlin Books, an occult store in
Why? Okay, wait.
Bushwick.
Why do you have to say technically? Why can't you just say it was a full moon ritual?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Carry on.
a witches' gathering. So technically, it was a full moon ritual, which we know is a witches' gathering.
Or you could even say witch's full moon gathering.
Yeah, that would have been better.
You don't have to try to
Oh! You're expecting them to have editors.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, especially religionnews.com. I'm sure they can't afford editors. Bushwick, Brooklyn, designed to celebrate January's Blood Wolf Moon, to gather into this powerful light and explore the energy of the full moon, the new year, to invoke hungry, wild nature, heightening instinctual senses and inhabiting the archetypes of both the hunter and the hunted. Nearly all of the event's 30-odd attendees who paid $20 a pop to attend appeared to be under 35. Most, not all, were white and bore pink hair, goth accessories, or some variation of latter-day Brooklynite counterculture style. And while not everyone was present was necessarily practicing Wiccan or pagan, the proceedings certainly required no specialized metaphysical knowledge or affiliation. All of us were asked by the mistress of ceremonies to chant the names of the ancient Roman moon goddess Diana, Luna, and Lucina, Juno, as well as to meditate to a poem written about a wild god whose attributes mirrored that of the Celtic god Cernunnos. We breathed out negative energy, quote unquote, into a mason jar filled with the herb belladonna picked from Catlin's own garden. We received a blessing from the ritual's facilitator, Catlin's co-owner Melissa Madara, who passed a moon-like selenite orb around the room. As we went through our paces, I wondered if I was attending a religious ritual, a guided meditation, a spell, a social club. On reflection, I realized I was being given a pitch for social activism. For the religiously unaffiliated, witchcraft is part of and parcel of a socially progressive way of life, and at spaces like Catlin, New Age spirituality is increasingly inseparable from social justice advocacy. Witchcraft is no longer the fringe spiritual practice it once was, but a political marker of resistance. You could see this over the summer at Catlin, as the store hosted by a Hex Brett Kavanaugh event during the Supreme Court Justice confirmation hearings, or just go to Facebook where several thousand self-proclaimed witches hex Donald Trump prominently every month. But Catlin, one can and also buy a zine about the ethics of cursing by Dakota Starkfleet, a.k.a. Dakota Brassial, the store's other co-owner, that makes clear that curses may be used as the last resort of those without access to the criminal justice system. In other words, magic may be used to seek justice. Our accountability or plain influence when the mainstream has failed or marginalized the practitioner. Folk magic is what arms the poor, the downtrodden, and the outcast. Starkfleet writes, "How could anyone fault me for cursing my rapist? How could anyone blame me, let alone shame me, for seeking to be the arbiter of my own justice by cursing the evil maid?" According to I'm going to say Starkfleet because I can't pronounce that word. Contemporary witch culture is a reflection of a wider transitions in feminism, while the New Age movement of the 1980s and 70s tended to be largely white and geared towards the celebration of divine feminine. Contemporary witchcraft is more concerned with tearing down gender divisions altogether. To the extent the female is celebrated at all, it is as a force to be wielded against the powers that be. Christian J. Soli, author of Witches, Sluts, Feminists, Conjuring the Sex Positive, told The Guardian in 2017. To me, the primal impulse behind each of these contested identities is self-sovereignty. Witches, sluts, and feminists embody the potential for self-directed feminine power and sexual and intellectual freedom. If that sounds dark, it's meant to be. Insisting on positivity and light is for those who want to keep up the barriers of class and racial privilege. The demand for constant love and light and to do no harm, Starkfleet writes, is nothing more than a treacherous, vile manifestation of misogyny, racism, specifically anti-blackness, classism, transphobia, and various other forms of oppression in the spiritual realm. Do not fall for it. It's unclear exactly how many witches there are in America. In his 2015 book, Witches of America, Alex Marr suggests that the number of people practicing some form of witchcraft hovers around 1 million. For comparison, there are 1.2 million Buddhists, 2.4 million Hindus, and 4 million Jews in America. While still far from being a majority religion, these objectors to the system seem to be reaching for some sort of critical mass. So while witchcraft, witch culture has become anti-capitalism platform for resistance, it has become highly marketable aesthetic, as Corin Faith wrote in his BuzzFeed essay, How Witchcraft Became a Brand. The handicraft and vintage selling platform Etsy returns 28,000 results for the search term witchcraft. From subscription boxes offering spell supplies to online stores preferring decoratively spooky taxidermy, witchcraft is big business. But Catlin, the rituals felt less like an Instagram father than like building blocks of a new form of social interaction. The majority of the evening was spent breathing down, chanting in unison, ultimately sharing food in a feast of country bread, garlic and onion, both, and oranges. People passed food around, made conversation, drank Madara's homemade healing tea. My neighbor told me she'd been interested in magic for a while, but only recently had dared to seek out the community. While we were encouraged to take photographs of the altar at the beginning of the evening, and yes, they did later show up on Instagram, I recognized that Catlin's post-ritual meal was vital as the coffee hour that follows the Episcopal service I attend. The one that the Episcopalians only half joke is our real communion. Wow. Well, that was an interesting article. Wasn't sure where it was going to go on a lot of times, but pretty common things I see in most social paganisms, social witchcrafts, gatherings, that kind of thing. Nothing really wrong with any of that, but yeah, politics. The politics of the current political structure seem adversely opposed to everything that all witches I know of believe. And all of these subgroups within those, they, happen to be witches and women, happen to be witches and, lesbian or gay or transgender or whatever you have, poly, bi, everything, and are witches. All of those subgroups suffer under the current administration too, and witches. So, you suffer under your subgroup and your subgroup of being witches by the current administration. So, yeah, kind of political.
Yeah, subgroups not even.
Yeah, been political for a long time. One of the oldest books we have of any organization of witchcraft would be Audidia Gospel of the Witches by Leland. That's like sometime in the 70s, and his research mid to late 70s. In Tuscany, and that group is very political. They are opposing the Catholic Church from the underground. They are, slaves and wretched refuse and bandits and happen to be pagans. That Aradia is sent down on a beam of light to organize as a revolt against the church. It sounds rather political, don't you think?
Yes.
I think so, too. I think we've said enough.
I think you said plenty.
Do you, baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have them satisfied for the next week.
You think so?
Yes.
All right. Y'all better be satisfied for the next week.
Yeah.
But remember our large package and subscribe or follow. Or, if you're on, wherever you're listening to us on iHeartRadio or the SoundCloud or the Tumblrs or all of those places, YouTube, follow or subscribe or something like that so you know when we go live with our large package.
And so that we know you care and that we're not doing this for naught.
Yeah, because we love you people.
We're doing it for you people.
We're doing it for you. Yeah. I told somebody I would play some Misfits, so yeah, got to do that. All right,
gotta
we
keep
out.
Our word.
With a chance.
Good
See you
night.
next time.
They call us walking corpses, unholy living dead.
Oh, all the money e'er I had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm I've ever done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, the memory now I can't recall. So fell to me the parting glass, good night and joy be with you all. Oh, all the comrades there I had, they're sorry for my going away, and all the sweethearts there I had, they wished me one more day to stay. But since it falls into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be with you all. If I had money enough to spend and leisure time to sit a while,